This is episode 84 on the Air Hug Community Podcast. Hello there and welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, this is the Air Hug Community Podcast and I am your host, Judy Arizosa. I am a midlife lady who is someone who loves to share stories from myself and special guests that reflect on just how midlife really goes, not how we think it should go. We talk about the good, the bad, the messy, the ugly, the wonderful, all the emotions. And this is a place where we actually can grow from our experiences. So, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. Okay, when I put the title up to this podcast, I kind of thought, oh, I wonder if people think that we're going to have an anatomy lesson. We're not. However, sometimes when I think of a jar of hearts, I visualize my days back in anatomy lab with jars full of things like brains and hearts, and ew. So that's like not my favorite memory. When I think of that, I think of really bad smells of formaldehyde. And on those days, I couldn't even go home and cook meat for dinner or even look at meat or eat meat for dinner. And I was obsessively washing my hands. So I just want to say that is not what today's topic is all about. So let's put that behind us, right? So the jar of hearts concept was born out of a conversation that happened in our semi-private gym sessions years and years ago. I'm thinking back to like 2017, and it was a Monday. And on that day, people came in and we were all sharing our insecurities. And I think it stemmed from a negative comment. And first, I think you should know that our sessions are a very safe place. And so people come in and feel safe, and we often share things. But that day was definitely a rough day. And I think Mondays sometimes are rough days. And people were coming in, and it's the negative comments, the negative self comments started to flow. And I was like, wait, we really do not want to go down this type of rabbit hole. All right. We do not want to be in a self loathing path. And so I thought about it for a while. And the next session, I came back and I was reminded of a verse that has always stuck with me. And it goes like this: be careful of how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. And this comes from Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. And so, in order to reverse those thoughts and encourage people not to be so down on themselves, I came up with the idea, based on a conversation I had with another friend of mine, for a jar of hearts. And the idea was to listen during our sessions and catch someone making a negative comment and then turn it around. So we would say kind of the converse or the reverse of it and add it to our jar of hearts. Now, we had this jar for a while in 2017 and in the year after, and it kind of fell by the wayside. And then fast forward to this year, 2022, one of our women came in and she was talking about Lenten season. And whether you observe Lent or not, pretty much everyone knows that Lent is a time where people do things differently. And a lot of times, Lent is faced kind of centered around not doing something. And it's interesting because this person came in and talked about how we'd like to do something positive. Instead of taking something out of our life, let's put something positive in. So we talked about lifting other people up. And I thought, this is a great time to bring our jar of hearts back into the gym and remind people that if someone just needs lifting up, Or if we have that thought and we need to be lifted up, to go ahead and say it and actually put it in the jar of hearts. And I'm thinking that maybe we will take some time and actually pull out. Maybe we'll have a girls' night or something. I don't know. We're thinking about what to do with that jar of hearts, but to actually pull it out and think and read these things that have turned people around. So some examples are like people saying, my knees are weak. But you might say, I'm working on strengthening my thighs and helping my knees that have carried me through so much in this life already. Or a big comment that we have seen over the years is the presence of cellulite. I don't like my cellulite. I wish I could get rid of it. And, what we know about cellulite, first of all, is that it's largely genetic. And yes, if you get a little bit leaner, it will be less apparent. And so, sure, that's fine. You could say, oh, I have some cellulite. That's fine. And then a way to turn it around is I'm here working on the strongest, most fittest body I can have so that I can be healthy. And if cellulite is still there, it's just a sign of my ancestry, period. That's it. So, what this all boils down to is sharing the need to practice self-love over self-loathing. And lately, I have been posting about this on social media. In fact, I do post on it on social media regularly. I would say like probably once a quarter. But most recently, I posted on it early this year in 2022, just a few weeks ago, in fact. And I found that in the comments, it was a very, very sticky point for people. This is something also that I've talked about, practicing self-love with my clients. And I've said to them, and I think I've talked about this in other podcasts, we've talked about doing some mini habits, like, staying active throughout the day is one, which is not part of our exercise plan, but more part of our life plan. And the other is looking in the mirror every day and reminding yourself of how much you love yourself. And 100% of my people have said that it would be so much harder to do the second habit, to look in the mirror and say how much we love ourselves. It's a sticky point. And also the comments on social media were super sticky about that as well. And so let's talk about love for a minute. What is it? It's an emotion and it's a state of mind, right? And experiencing it is transformative, as in it will rock your world, right? It will change your world. When you love yourself, I love this quote, life loves you back. When you love yourself, life loves you back. So the big question here is, how do we get better at loving ourselves? What do we do? And I have to say, this is not a one and done thing. You read it on Facebook once and you're done with it, and you forget about it. It has to be something that we practice, but only as often as you brush your teeth, literally. We have to train our brain continuously. It's like if we don't, we get untrained. Isn't there a certain breed of dog? Somebody once told me, I don't know anything about German Shepherds, but somebody once told me that German Shepherds, that if you don't keep training them, they get untrained. Somebody chime in and let me know if that's real or not. I don't know. But I think for people, if we don't keep training ourselves to love ourselves, we do get untrained. And so we have to make it a mini habit. What's it going to take you? 12 seconds? Not even, maybe 4 seconds to look in the mirror and remember to say, I love myself no matter what. And the days that you don't feel like it are the days when you need it the most. So say to yourself and look at yourself, I love myself no matter what. Because here's the thing, as life goes on, we're going to age. We are going to look older. We're going to get wrinkles. Gravity is going to take its place. Cellulite is not going anywhere. no matter how fit we get. At some point, gravity and the whole aging process with our skin, etc., is going to change how we look, but it doesn't mean that we're any less worthy of love. Okay? And it doesn't mean that we're any less beautiful. So make a commitment to practice that. And so where does the jar of hearts come in? Well, one suggestion is to have your own jar of hearts, whether you want to have it, on your nightstand or someplace that is relevant to you. Maybe you have a little space on your bathroom counter. Maybe you like your desk at work, or maybe it's a special place in your kitchen. I don't know, anywhere, but make your own jar of hearts. Get a jar that you really, really like. I love mason jars. Don't ask me why. I think it's because they remind me of old-fashioned living, and I'm kind of a sucker for old-fashioned family stories and old-fashioned ways of doing things. Don't get me wrong. I like instant things too, but I do definitely like the values and stories that come along with being old-fashioned. And so for me, a mason jar is a great representation of that. But put a pretty sign on it. Maybe you're going to put on that jar, maybe you're going to make it in beautiful fonts. Maybe you're going to write, I love myself no matter what. And, make it a habit to, whether you fill that jar or whether it's just a reminder for you to remember to practice self-love. Either way, make it work for you. But a jar of hearts, maybe you're just going to fill it with hearts. Maybe you're going to fill it with those Valentine's hearts. Ew, I hate those. They are so disgusting as far as tasting, but I don't mind looking at them. If anyone ever made cinnamon red hearts, I would maybe fill my jar with that. I don't think I would want to eat them. I just want to look at them. But the idea is to give yourself a reminder so that you actually involve all your senses, your eyes, your ears. You're going to feel the jar. You may write something down if that works for you. Practice it. And I will tell you, the more that you train your brain, the brain is such a literal organ. It doesn't get sarcasm. It gets straightforward, literal thoughts. And so what you feed it, love goes in, love goes out. But if garbage goes in, garbage comes out. And so it's up to you. But here's what I would say. Find a way to practice that works for you, to practice self-love every day. And I love to use the toothbrush reminder because you brush your teeth minimum twice a day. And so twice a day, maybe while you're brushing your teeth and you glance over and you see that cute little jar maybe on your bathroom counter, practice loving yourself. I guarantee you it will make a difference in your life. And we are putting that jar back in our gym, and we're going to come up with something. I'll let you guys know. Maybe in a future episode we'll throw it at the end. But I'll let you guys know what we decide to do with all our wonderful comments that are actually training our brain. So have a good week. I will be back next week with a new episode, probably with a guest. Actually, there will be a guest next week. But this week was just me and just you, and it's all about what we can do that's within our control, right? This is something that's totally within our control. And maybe it's not easy, but if we decide that it's easy, it can be. Remember, it's like 3 to 5 seconds, literally, that you can do twice a day. I want to hear how this works out for you. So my contact information is in the show notes, or maybe you post your own jar of hearts on social media and tag me. So thank you for listening, and I will see you back here next week and every Tuesday on the Air Hug Community Podcast. If this episode spoke to you in any way, please feel free to grab a screenshot of the cover and share it on your social media or share it with your BFF. Oh, hey, and just one more thing. The way that podcasts get found are through reviews. And so if you haven't already, I would super appreciate it if you would leave a review on either Apple or Spotify, because this really, really helps to get the podcast out to others who may be looking for it. So thanks. I appreciate it.